Welcome, welcome, welcome to Dating Differently with Demi.
And Dr. Conti.
Hey, and today we are talking about dating out of the box. And so you know that Dr. Conti and I have combined our expertise and created just a strategic roadmap that helps you first prepare for healthy love so you can confidently choose with clarity and sustain the right relationship. So we're jumping right in. We're jumping right in. I'm excited about the subject. So, Dr. Conti,
Yes, ma'am.
I would say, dating out of the box, tell us what that means.
Well, first, I want to make sure I challenge everybody today. I want to challenge everybody today to think differently as we talk about our title of our podcast, to think differently, because many of us always say we want different, but we continue to keep choosing the same types of persons. So, when we talk about what is the box and dating outside of the box, it is a made up rule. It's our own personal made up rule and assumptions that tell us we have to have a particular type of person. It's a preference, and many times it's a limitation that we've created over the years. So, some of these preferences are healthy, and some of them are not. And they're actually disguised as standards when they're really preferences. So, as we're talking today, we're going to talk about different ways that you can have those assumptions and put yourself in a box.
So, basically, what I just heard you say was which of my dating beliefs still serve me and which ones I'm carrying simply because I've never questioned them.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm. We're
So we're
we're
gonna talk
habitual
about
we're habitual creatures too, and out of habit, sometimes we just think that's what we're supposed to have or desire because that's what we've always had.
okay. So I heard you talk about assumptions. So we're gonna talk about some of those that deserve to be challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that I know came up when I was dating, I know it's come up for some, is you have to date someone that lives close to you. Like for me, I always said, I have to date someone that lives close to me. And no, as you're listening, this isn't a right, wrong, it's a maybe, maybe not. But really is your radius based on convenience or possibility. And I always look at it as, are you open to it or are you driven by it? So meaning if you're open, you've always believed that, um, love holds no distance really. So it could be anywhere. But if you're driven to, I always feel like it's something such as, well, because nothing local has worked, I guess I have to widen my search, but not because I really want to. So I'm not expanding it because I really believe it can be there. I'm expanding it because, and not because I genuinely want to. And neither one is wrong or right because you just have to have the right mindset. And I know
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about this, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's
Well,
how we came about this topic today.
yeah, I mean, some people, I'll just go just a little bit deeper than that. When you feel driven because you've been disappointed, because um, you sometimes go into it where you're going to try to force a connection
Mm-hmm.
with someone that you meet simply because you've invested the time, you invested the hope, and you kind of stop gathering information and really chasing the outcome. And such, one of the things you talked about was dating differently is designed to help you avoid that because long distance dating isn't for everyone. We talk about slow is the new sexy. If you're doing long distance, it requires you to be more patient. It requires you to be more emotionally disciplined, to really, really know that you have healthy boundaries put in place, and just your willingness to tolerate some uncertainty. And in that, you might discover that it isn't it isn't for you. You're not wired for it. I mean, I've said many times that you're geographically undesirable. But first, the first thing in dating differently is really knowing yourself, right?
Yeah.
So which would you say is another assumption that we have?
Oh gosh. So we always talk about you have to have a six pack, six figure, 6 feet guy.
Yeah,
So we have these physical types for sure.
yeah.
I don't like bald, or I want hair, or I need a bearded person, or I like a clean shaven person. Not that that's something that can't be changed, but these a physical attraction. A lot of times we have that physical type, or he has to be, like I said, I don't. If I wear heels, and I'm taller than him, then
Mhm.
that's a problem. So the physical attraction, a lot of times, is the first one that we have that assumption that we have to get past, or he has to be a certain skin tone, whether that's a certain skin tone, a African American person who was a lighter fair skin, or he has to be a chocolate drop, all of those different things. Even he has to be ethnicity. What about, does he even have to be an African American person, or does he have? I talked about, I think one of the segments I talked about a friend who said she got everything that she prayed for except he was a white man, and she said, God, oh, I forgot to ask that he be black. So ethnicity too is one. Do I date outside the race? Do I date your family is very multicultural. Your son is engaged outside of an African American race, and your daughter is engaged outside of the African American race. So looking at, does it have to be white, black, Asian, Hispanic? Like, what are types? And is that something that you can expand your assumption outside of the box?
So I'm gonna throw one in. It's gonna step on a whole lot of toes, but I'm gonna say the man has to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and let me just put this out there, and I'm saying man specifically to those women that are listening tonight, and for your men to know, for a woman, and I always say dating in 1986 and 2026 is different. If you've already paid off your house, or you're already taking care of your own bill, you're paying your mortgage, you're paying your rent, if you've already built your retirement, if you've already raised your children, then why does his income still determine whether you'll have coffee with them or not? And it's just a question. And notice that I didn't say that income doesn't matter, okay? Because we are talking to usually people that are empty nesters. They are already, maybe been married for 20 plus years. Maybe you're widowed, but you haven't dated in 20 or 30 years. I'm not talking about someone who's irresponsible. I am talking about someone who manages what they have, and
Mm-hmm.
they're able to live within their means.
Mm-hmm.
They're financially healthy. Those are different conversations, but we have to ask, have we confused financial responsibility with financial status?
Mm-hmm.
Because truly at our age, what is what does it really matter? It mattered when we were young because, the other assumption for us as women a lot of times is you date someone that's your age. And I'm not advocating yes or no for an age gap, but, why we believe what we believe. Who taught us, usually as women, we want to date within 5 years, right? And 5 years younger is okay, but why not 10 years younger? Or where did that number come from?
Mm-hmm.
Because, when we were in our 20s and 30s, we dated people older, but it made sense then, right? Because we wanted someone who was established and
Mm-hmm.
financially and professionally, but many of us no longer need that. We've already built our own life. We've already, what dating formula are we using now? That's,
Yeah.
I think, one of those assumptions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we want to make sure that we, again, like you said, know yourself. Everybody's situation is different. And one of the things that we have to look at is the African, particularly in the African American culture and diaspora. Many African American women are making really big salaries.
Yeah.
So it's not even just you being, are you comfortable with someone that doesn't make as much as you do? Or because if you're female, he's the male, you want him to make more money. But what about the male? Are you comfortable with the female, in which is in many cases in dating today, that she may be making more money than you? So all of it kind of, you have to circle back and say, again, looking at history, this
Right.
was because of that. But history has changed in so many
Right.
different ways. It's changed in so many different ways. And what you don't want is, you could be overlooking a really incredibly remarkable person simply because they don't look like you imagine, don't they're not the ethnicity that you imagine. They may not make as much money as you had imagined or desired. So you want to say, okay, is this something that is a preference? Is this something that I have assumed I was going to have? Or is this something that really going to make a difference when it comes to the love that I've been looking for? So dating outside of your comfort zone is sometimes what keeps us from dating outside, staying in the box, in other words.
Yeah.
And of course, as a counselor,
Yeah.
and particularly a trauma-informed counselor, a lot of times our old triggers, our old traumas are speaking to us. So sometimes the healthiest person feels unfamiliar. The healthiest person, I'm saying for the people in the back,
Hey, one more time.
feels unfamiliar. And we go back to what's comfortable and stay in that box. But many times, what's comfortable is what we've been doing or what we were used to that wasn't healthy.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
I recall something. It is you date because you think it's comfortable, but it's familiar.
It's familiar. Two
It's
different things.
yeah. You
Are
know,
they emotionally available? These are the questions. Okay, yeah, I got the 6 feet, 6 figures, six pack, but I'm still getting the old familiar thing where they're inconsistent, they don't communicate, they don't give effort, they're creating drama. So chaos has been, if chaos has been your norm, healthy can actually feel uncomfortable, even if healthy is in a different package.
yeah, yeah. Just again going back to just because we're over 50 and things, you just feel like things should be different. I know one of the things that I thought about was I thought that because we were older, that it was going to be easier. That's what
Mm.
I thought.
Oh my God. I think a lot of us thought that. I have heard from so many empty nesters, divorcees, widowers, men and women. I actually had a conversation about it last night. Like, this is why this whole podcast came about. We had a conversation last night. I was like, "Hey, like, what did I just get into? Like, is dating today, again, as we say, it's not like it used to be."
Yeah, and so I thought, "Hey, we're 50 plus years old. It should be easy," but it's not. In some ways, it's harder, and it's harder because we have more baggage.
Mm-hmm.
We have more baggage, and I try to coach and tell people they didn't feel the bags that you're carrying, so why does the next relationship have to store them?
Mm-hmm.
People have more habits. They have more grief, like you were talking about. They have more responsibilities. They've established their lifestyles, and there's more fear. And so all of that put together just makes it harder. Just makes it harder.
And you could have done the work. I think that too. I think that a lot of times when if you've been in a marriage for a long time, or you've been whether made in a marriage for a long time or dating a long time, I always say we learn through our experiences. And so sometimes our experiences have taught us that we don't have to settle for certain things, or we don't have to
Mhm.
overlook certain things. So it becomes harder in the sense of finding that person, not necessarily because you're full of baggage and you're full of habits. You could be the cake. And when you're the cake and you have worked through your stuff, you're not going to be easily looking at something that is going to bring chaos or drama or trauma, or something that's not going to feel comfortable as you've done the work.
Absolutely. It goes both ways,
Mm-hmm.
for all genders. Um, which goes into kind of what you were saying. One of the things is you think, older people don't play games.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
and I, both know there's false. That's false.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows that it's false.
Everybody play
Um,
games.
People don't just stop
Older, younger.
avoiding difficult conversations because they turn 55, and ghosting isn't 25 years old. I mean, the word ghosting wasn't out 25 years ago, but it was called something else.
Mm-hmm.
Or avoidance isn't 25 years old, or poor communication. The behavior or bad behaviors just wear older faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way you said, do the work.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure, and that's why we're here, we always talk about follow us, but follow us.
But sometimes you might need to do more than follow. You might need to pick up the phone or send an email and say, "Hey, I need a session. I need to get with one of y'all because I'm not doing the work and I need to do the work." Or I thought I did the work, but hey, it's showing that I haven't done the work. Hello, everybody.
Thank
Say hi, hi, hi to us. Good to see you. A lot of times we can't see who all is on if you don't just say hi. So we would love to hear from you. And I want to pop this question up from Oprel, only because we have covered it before. And so shouldn't you determine first how the opposite view dating? And yes, 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 we have covered that before, Oprah. You absolutely should, because what is your end goal? Do you have the same desires? Do you want to get married? Or are you someone that just want to date casually? Or are you
you.
someone who's looking for your life partner? So absolutely, you should do that first. Absolutely. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, everybody. I see some people more popping on. Say hi to us.
Hi. And so, I'm always going to throw this in because that's kind of what I do is, for us over 50, we think about online dating isn't real. Some of us don't even want to use our credit cards online,
Yes, I've
but
had people to
we
say.
already know you don't have to. And again, we're not here to convince you to love the apps either.
Mhm,
So, but I will challenge you, that is online dating the problem, or is how you use it the problem?
mhm, mhm,
And you said it, I was saying follow, but we are live. So I
mhm,
had, a brain freeze, book a session,
mhm,
because that's a discussion. That's
mhm,
a session discussion. And of course, you can go back and look at all of those look at our episodes on YouTube. But that is a discussion because it is real and it's a great tool to use
mhm,
when you know how to use it.
mhm. I want to swing back around to
Mhm.
the uh the demographics and the location being undesirable. So someone on our Dating Differently page said there are people, when she was talking about location, one of the questions was about location, and
Mhm.
would you date someone that's long distance? Because that, again, long distance is considered dating outside of the box.
Right.
And so her comment was, there are people who think living on opposite sides of Houston is long distance.
Me.
And I raised my hand and said, me, me.
Me.
Because you can live in the Woodlands and live in Clear Lake, and you are clearly an hour and a half away from each other. And God forbid it's traffic time. I live in the Galleria area, and and a lot of people are in spring now. So I've dated, in spring several times, and it's a hike, and I hate it. I really do. But I too, the reason we came up with this topic is because Demi told me I need to date more out of the box. And her comment was, exactly that. I like to date in this little area right here.
Mhm. You gotta spread it around, spread it around.
And so
And
she's
yes,
like,
Houston is long
Houston
distance,
is long
sorry.
distance. It is. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna date. I'm gonna, step outside of the box myself and start including some people. Now I'm not going all the way out of the state, but of course, even out of the state of Texas is so big, you know. But so maybe Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, or something like that. But even this goes back to Oprel's question. Even in that, you want to make sure this person, even if they're long distance, what's their end goal? Do
Right.
they want to get married? If you guys end up being a match, are they willing to travel? Or would they move? Or could they relocate? Could the
Mhm.
work that they do uh for them to relocate? Or it could be family. They're very close to their family. They don't want to relocate. So these are questions that you have to ask. But one of my things is, and I say it all the time, when I'm an emotional person in a good way. Like I'm excited. I want to celebrate. If something happens, like, oh, I just got a great deal, or oh, I just helped somebody book become bestseller, or I just got a coaching deal or a grant for my nonprofit, let's celebrate. And if I'm with someone, I want to say, hey, babe, let's go celebrate. I
Yeah.
was just sharing this with someone last night. And if I have a bad day and everything that could go wrong is going wrong, I might want to say, hey, honey, this is not a good day today. Can we just go out and do whatever? So you have to consider those types of things. That's why knowing you is important, because somebody can't up and drive from whoever knows where if you just want to celebrate for the night.
Right. But I want to repeat those questions for people who, you're open and you're ready to find that love somewhere else and to go the long distance. And one of the questions I think you said, I'm pretty sure I won't be word for word, but you said, would you ever relocate? Um, is your career tied to where you live? And are you flexible? And those are just
Compatibility.
compatibility questions. Okay. But it's not saying that is the one, but it would be good to know up front,
Up
because if
front.
you happen to meet someone that does live, and we're going to say, because we're in Houston and they live in Dallas or Austin or San Antonio, if they tell you, I absolutely could never relocate. My entire business is here. Then you have to know, are you open to that? Because if you're not, then, like I say, then
Yep.
that conversation is over.
Yep, you've gathered all the information that you need. And we often say, you all have heard us say it over and over and over, dating is gathering information. And so that's the information you would have gathered right up front.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
we went over some of those assumptions, and I think I had one more. I'm I'm thinking about it. I talked about the online because I always do that. And this is something I think you actually brought up, but we talk about this often on the show, is chemistry means compatibility, and it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I
No.
think people over 50 often mistake that kind of piece for boredom,
Mm-hmm.
or butterflies for compatibility,
Mm-hmm.
because they're a huge difference. Those are just some of the things I think we miss a lot
Mm-hmm.
when we're looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also love languages.
Mm,
When you talk about compatibility, or they may love differently, you're expecting someone to maybe be a loud type of person who loves, and they shower with gifts, or they do a whole bunch of things that is your love language, but maybe they express love through
yeah.
consistency, or through service, or through related reliability. So those are kind of things too you want to consider, because sometimes, again, healthier love, as you said, more than likely is quieter than toxic love. And if you've been used to the chaos, the ups and downs, the walking on eggshells, the make up and break up, and the make up sex, and then now we're not talking again, when you have even consistent peace, yes, Healthy love doesn't mean you're not going to have disagreements, but when
Right.
you have something that's consistent and peaceful, it often does feel like this is boring. He's not my type,
Or she's not my
or
type.
she's not my type.
I
Yeah.
do like the way you said that because that was interesting. We had these conversations before, just kind of in coaching, that you're right. People have different ways that they show their love language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as you're getting to know someone and taking your time through the relationship, you'll learn what those things are.
Yeah.
And really, you should know what yours is
Mm-hmm.
and
And
understand.
what about a social circle?
Yeah.
Dating a coworker. What are is that a preference? Is that a rule? Is that a standard? Or people from your church, or people that's your religion, people that has to stay in a certain type of neighborhood. We got we got a little one of my one of my people that I was dating online. I wasn't really comfortable with the neighborhood. So you still have to know yourself. Is this something and let me please make this clear.
Mhm.
Dating out of the box does not mean lowering your standards.
Absolutely not.
Does not mean lowering your standards. You do not have to lower your standards and your boundaries to date outside the box. We're not saying that. We're saying you're still going to hold whoever you're dating, whether they're white, black, Hispanic, yellow, green, or purple, whether they're in town, out of town, whether they're online or you meet them at the library, at the club, at the church. You're going to still use our 5-step vetting process, and you're going to still have your standards, your healthy standards, and your healthy boundaries. But sometimes, again, is it really that much of a preference, or is it something that you have just created because this is the box that you are accustomed to?
And that you put yourself in. And,
Mm-hmm.
I would say just that you did, just another way is, really, are your dating standards actually your standards, or are they societal hangups
Mm-hmm.
we never stop to question?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we get hung up in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
As we said, sometimes the biggest thing standing between us and the relationship we want isn't another person. It's really the
Mm-hmm.
box that we put ourselves in.
Yeah. Yeah. And we could be very, 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 very close to it. I'm going to throw out some uh, powerful questions to the audience. Now, this is just something for you to ponder. If you want to put something in the chat about it, a yes or a no, or what you think, throw it in there. Ask yourself this: have my preference helped me find healthy love? Because that's the goal, a healthy relationship. If you've had this particular preference and still have not been able to find the healthy love or the fulfilling love life that you want, you might want to look at changing the preference. What about, am I choosing familiarity or compatibility?
Mm.
These are just things I want you all to think about, because we don't want to just come on here, have a great talk, which we do all the time, but we want you to leave impacted. We want you to leave with something. So ask yourself these questions. If you can answer them, or if you want to put something in the chat regarding this, please do. Is my type actually healthy? Because I've heard somebody say, "Oh, I like a rough neck. I like somebody who's a little rough around the edges." What does that mean? Is that healthy? What does rough around the edges mean? So ask yourself, is your type really healthy? What about, have I confused, which we said, chemistry with compatibility? And the last one, what if my future spouse looks nothing like the picture I have created? Is this somebody I can continue to be with who is absolutely wonderful to me? Now, of course, we do have to have an attraction for somebody and all those things, but these are just things that you might want to consider when you're talking about possibly moving outside the box.
I was reading some of the things that were in the chat.
Okay.
It has been more, Dr. Smith said, it has been more of a hindrance. Eyes were wide shut based on the type of preference. True love comes with an open mind and heart.
Oh, that's good. That's a good closing point right there. I love it. I love it. Yeah, true love comes with an open mind and open heart. And again, it goes back to what I was saying. Um, Sometimes we will miss out on somebody amazing because of it. And so don't be so committed to your type that you miss out on your person.
I think that's the closing statement right there. I really do. I really do. And if this conversation spoke to you, be sure to join the Dating Differently Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us both on on our social media platforms, book a session with us if this touched you, and join us next week as we continue giving strategies to date with clarity, move with intention, choose with confidence, and we look forward to continuing to help you love intentionally
Yes, and to heal completely and to
and
date
date differently.
differently. Bye bye. See you next week. Bring friends.
Bye.